Hello, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast. Unfortunately, I think it's only me this week, so we don't have the professional feedback and racing details that we got with Mark John, unfortunately. But hopefully, he'll be back next week. So, yeah, this week it's the Muckle Yin, um, and it's week 4 of the Herd Summer Racing League. This is race 2. This looks like a very cool race, actually. So I was looking at at the different segments for this one, the different sprints and that kind of thing. So basically, what you've got here is 7 different places where you can get points. There's points right out the gate. So after 100 meters, the first set of points will be fought for over on the champion sprint. Then 5.6 kilometers it's Breakaway Bray, then up the hill at 8.5 kilometers, then down to Breakaway Bray again, then up the hill again at 18 kilometers, then back into the city for the Clyde Kicker, and finally the finish 2 kilometers. It's 23.7 kilometers altogether. So what I'm going to try to do is get in there with the D's when they start, and follow some of the riders. So as soon as they start, which is in just a few seconds, we'll jump in with some of the D's. It looks like some pretty good racing in the D's this week. So we've got William Ung, we've got Ben Poynton, 3 ladies, Carrie McBride, Kathy, just called Kathy X, and Gilly Green, and some other riders, 3 from the herd this week. So, which is cool. So what we're going to do, they've started off now, so we're going to fan view these guys and ladies, and like I said, the first sprint is coming up super quick. So now William Ung is a very good sprinter, but Ben Poynton from the herd is also a fantastic sprinter. This guy's got some severe power, and Ben is off, I think. So let's see if Ben comes over the line first in this one. If I can jump in with him. The sprint is off now. I would imagine that is definitely going to be Ben. William Ung has timed it very nicely coming through the pack. And it looks like he's going to take the first sprint. Great sprint from William there. Very good. I think William will definitely take the points on that first sprint. So now they've got basically about 7 minutes till they reach the next point, which is at 5.6 kilometers. So before then, the C's will definitely will have started. So what we'll do, we'll follow these guys for the moment. And then we'll catch up with the C's as they race. What's always cool about these is how the different how it all unfolds, and whether the C's catch the D's and so forth. And then it's whether people can actually hang in, because if they can hang in, they'll get the draft from some much better sprinters. So in a way, it's a little bit unfair. It can be, but it is what it is. There's 5 minutes between them. They won't catch up definitely until the kind of final moments of the race. But yeah, that William did a fantastic sprint there, and let's just see if Zwift has updated. No, it's going to be a little while before Zwift actually updates, but fair play. Did Ben start this? I'm not 100% sure that Ben Poynton actually started. I can see 7 in the race. Unfortunately, until my race, which I've signed up for the A race, starts, I can't actually jump in on the course to see people. I have to use the companion app. So as things stand, we'll follow William, and I'm not 100% sure who that other herd rider is there. No, I don't think Ben started, not according to this. So it could be so yeah, I think that was Norm, but there are a couple of other herd riders. We've got Carrie McBride and Kathy. Unfortunately, Kathy, I don't know. I think she should be in this front team. Yep. So we'll keep our eye on it. So the C's will start in a minute and a half, and we'll jump straight in with them and see if we can catch that sprint. And we'll jump. The normal situation with these Herd Summer Racing League races, we'll jump back and forward and catch the action. I think it might be possible to get the sprint data at a certain point as well, but I think it takes a bit of time to to upload. But William definitely took that first sprint. So the next sprint, as I said earlier, is Breakaway Bray. It's going to be at 5.6 kilometers, so definitely the C's will have done their first sprint first, and then we'll jump back to the D's, and then probably it'll be time to jump in with the B's. All right, so the C's are about a little breakaway group here. Now, is William going to follow them, or is he going to sit in here? It's be interesting. So let's have a quick look at the sign-ups for the C race. The big field here with actually 7 herd riders. One interesting one is Paul Kelleher, who actually got promoted last week after his sort of sterling efforts in the first 3 races. But we've got Alan Chevel, Colin Sheridan, Ed Whedon, who's racing up. He could race in the D's, but he's chosen to race in the C's, which are very, very impressive with that. Eric Sedgwick, then there's Paul, and then Sean Fogenberg, who I just did the Pinktron podcast with, and Stephen McBride. There's not many other teams. There's quite a few riders, about 20 odd riders, but not too many. And we've just caught up here with the sprint, which is kicking off right now. It's difficult, unfortunately, to see who took that banner because we cannot click through. I'll try to give you the results if they do appear in the sprint information on Zwift Power. I'm not 100% sure whether that will appear, but I think it does pop up at some point. But yeah, the C's already kind of oh no, it looks like it's all coming back together. That's cool. Let's have a look behind. Yeah, it's all trailed out there from that first sprint. I think one of the interesting things is that not everyone knows that that this is a points race. So obviously all the herd guys will almost certainly will know, but and then any of the regulars, but quite a lot of the others get caught. Like, what the heck is going on? Everyone's like sprinting like lunatics. But yeah, like we've got a lot of herd riders, but yeah, you can see that some people have definitely been dropped off at the back there. Okay, so that is the C's. Let's just jump back with the D's and make sure that let's jump in with Carrie. See how Carrie's going. Oh, Carrie has been a little bit dropped here. And the next banner will be coming up pretty soon. So I think, yeah, this is actually great timing. So let's jump in with William to see if he's at the front. Yeah, so William's at the front. So basically what they do, oh, then actually there's a group of 3 that are broken away, but William's sitting in a nice position because he's got more riders that he can draft off. So even though those riders, it is FTS, so it isn't the first over the line, it is the fastest time on the sprint. So it doesn't necessarily matter if you get over the line first, but definitely some riders have got away. Now, what the course does here, it shoots up this little incline that you can see, does a bit of a sort of a corkscrew, heads down and then up into the Breakaway Bray finish. Well, the Breakaway Bray finish. It's quite a long sprint both ways actually. So it's 450 meters of sprint this way round, which is breakaway bray reverse, but 620 meters the other side. That's a big old sprint. So William is getting himself nicely positioned here. Now, we don't know who it is at the front, unfortunately. Maybe I can check on the live update and see who is the front group. So we've got Norm, we've got Strachan. If I can jump in with one of those guys, we can keep our eye. We've just got to find them, unfortunately, on the companion app, and none of them are showing up. So who's Norm and who's Strachan? No, can't see him. Who's the other one? Carrie, so she's definitely not in the front group. Okay, interesting. Well, it would be kind of good. Well, the front group is broken up into a 2, and then a somebody's just been dropped a little bit, and then you've got this little group. But I think this group of 4, I think William's going to be in a really good position here to launch a great sprint. The Bs are going to start almost the moment this sprint finishes, or they may even. Yeah, so here's the sprint line. It's Williams. He's dropped a power up, and he's off, and you can see that he's already closing on some of these people above. So I would imagine he's even having a drink of his bottle in his sprint. So yeah, you can see he's closed up a lot here. I would say that William is going to take this sprint as well. Let's have a look behind him. Yeah, he's cruised this. He's cruising it in, like he really is cruising it in. Okay, good job. So let's. This is the Bs, and they are off. We're following a psychologist, also known as Nathaniel. He's a pretty decent sprinter, actually. Now the Bs, there's some good riders in the Bs. Not a huge field, but look at Nathaniel. Yeah, a nice finish there. So I'm not sure who it was up in front, but we've got 2 herd riders. We've got Anders Cavale, and a psychologist. Sorry, I'm butchering his name. But he's he looks like a pretty decent sprinter. 3 from ATP, so it's going to be a herd versus ATP ride, this one. Okay, let's jump back in with the Cs. They've already closed about 40 seconds up on the Ds, and very soon the A's will start, and I'll be able to actually follow the race how I'd like to follow it by clicking through. Right, so here's the B. So yeah, this is perfect timing. They're coming up to breakaway Bray here. This is the C's, and not sure who won that first sprint. I will try to get the result. But yeah, as with the previous one, it will curl around here. This is a bit of an incline, so you can put a bit of an effort in and get away, but I'm not sure that's really going to help your sprint anyway. So let's just see. We're following McBride, Stephen McBride from the herd. Alan Chevel's up there. Pretty much all the C's are together. Actually, that's a look behind. You can see it is definitely stringing out here, but Stephen is actually in a very nice position for a sprint, and it shoots down a little bit here, and then they're going to launch into the sprint. 450-meter sprint. Okay. Stephen is in a great position. Well, he's moving slightly too close to the front probably now. Now the A's will be, this is actually very good timing because the A's are going to launch in just over a minute's time. Okay. Now here's the sprint. It's a long one. I think you need to, this is a sprint where you really need to pace it. Power-up's being dropped. Stephen needs to put down the power now if he's going to get in that top 10. There's some really good sprints up there. And they're through the finish. Okay, let's just jump back in with the Bs quickly, just to make sure that that race hasn't broken up. Nothing crazy's happened. Yeah, so there's a couple that have been dropped off the back, but it all looks like they're mostly together, which is cool. Let's see if any of the results from any of the sprints are actually no, none of the results on. Oh, hold on, I might be wrong. Yes. Okay, this is great. So the first sprint, William Ung took the first sprint. Oh, okay. No, it's doing the first across the line. Oh no, fastest time. Perfect. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay, okay. So it's mixing up everyone as well, though. Okay, let's jump in with. We can now jump in with the A's. So the A's have just started off. I can now actually move on. Now we've got some fantastic sprinters in this race. Dan Manalo is a incredibly good sprinter, so we're going to follow him. Oh, and Scorekeeper is also a very, very good sprinter. I'm going to follow Dan though. My money's on Dan. He's got, I think he's got a huge sprint, and he's launching. So him and Scorekeeper are going head to head here. Oh, it's very, very close. Who's going to take it? I think it. Oh, it really depends who went through that that banner first. They're both saying they've got the jersey, but the fact that Dan crossed the line first and Scorekeeper says he's got the jersey could mean that Scorekeeper actually got the sprint. But look how close that was. Fantastic. Right, here comes Mark Prado. Now it'll be really interesting. Mark's already raced the earlier race. It'll be interesting to see if he pushes on now and tries to get a gap after the sprint. Okay, so we can jump back in to the Bs, who should be coming up pretty close now to, yeah, they're right on Breakaway Bray. This is perfect timing. So we're following Psychologist here, who's like leading out from the front. Oh, we got Paul Chocaro in this one as well. He's a very strong B rider. I'm going to follow Paul. My money's on Paul. Uh-oh. My money is on Paul for this one. So now it looks like the D's are actually on the climb already, so I will jump in with them as soon as we get this. But let's just watch this sprint. Okay. The climb's I think it's 1.6 kilometers from this side. Yeah, 1.6. So that should really completely blow the D race apart. Okay, Paul he's right at the front, not in the best sprinting position, it's got to be said. Oh yeah, so we've got Jantika, who rode well in last week's race. There's only one person from the Bs that looks like they've been dropped so far. So yeah, I'm just going to follow Paul, because Paul's got a pretty decent sprint on him. but he's too close to the front, I'd say. Some people have launched. He's launched. One guy's launched with a truck, which is Juntika. Paul Chocaro. Is he riding for the herd? Nice. Welcome aboard, Paul. Wow, that's a fantastic sprint by whoever. Yeah. I don't know if that was... Not sure who that was at the front, but... Yeah, some very, very good sprints. Okay, let's jump back in with the D's. Let's go back to William Ung, see if he's... So he is, by the looks of it, actually a long way behind on the climb. So now we've got F Rose, who's leading the way. He's really, the climb has absolutely ripped the field apart. So Rose is 20 seconds in front now of the other D's, and all of them have been pretty... So William is actually way back, but you know, he's got a very good sprint, so he possibly could wait for the C's and then do all the sprinting. I would imagine that's his plan, although we'll see. So Rose definitely takes the FTS there. I can't imagine any of the others are going to, because I think they mostly went up at the start, were together. So that was, yes, so the next will be the C's coming to the climb. Let's jump in with Sean Sean was riding. Let's jump in with Alan Shevels, definitely riding. Yep, so they're on the climb now. Okay, so Eric Sedgwick is pushing at the top. Who's in front? Tim Mullett. Yep, Tim, very consistent rider. He is leading the C's up here. You can see they're closing in a lot of the D's. In fact, he's now just 5 seconds behind William Ung. It'll be interesting to see if William tags onto these guys or lets them go through. But yeah, Tim is pushing well with Paul Kelleher, who was just recently promoted. So fantastic riding from him. Right, this is a great little fight here. So Tim versus Paul. Who will get to the banner first? Paul is putting in a little burst. The new C is showing the rest of the C's how to race it. Excellent work, Paul. Oh my God, Paul is really ripping it all apart. Wow, up the hill, and Paul, the new C, has smashed all the other C's. Fair play. With looks like Tim Mullett was second. Okay, let's jump back in with the B's. So looks like let's get into the B race. We go back to Psychologist, who's a pretty decent climber. They're just coming up to the climb. There is a B off the front, which is B Carlson. He has pushed it early. He's got 6 seconds on everyone. Will they close it up? Has Carlson got his climbing legs on? So let's just see. So he's got a 6 second gap, which is decent, but they've got a great big group. It looks, with just 3-4%, it's a very draftable climb, but the guy, he's putting in some good watts here. Chasing him is Juntika, who has always been strong in these B races. Paul Chocaro, the new herd rider. Young and Psychologist. It's breaking up a little bit, so that front group of the B's looks like it's around 10 now, and then there's now 3 other riders that have been dropped, and M. Gay is losing some ground as well, quite rapidly. But Jontica is closing strongly, and they've caught him. So Psychologist now is just passing. He, like I say, he's always been a decent climber. Chakaro, who's very strong also, he's chasing them, but Psychologist is... he looks like he's off now. He's putting a big burst in as well. So still a little way to go on this climb. You can see that the Bs have nearly caught up a lot of the Ds already, and they're closing in on the Cs. This is going to be an interesting one because yeah, it's all going to come together at some point. So Psychologist, Carlson is sticking in his draft, although it's 7% there, probably not a huge amount of draft. Psychologist putting in 6 watts per kilo. Jontica and Carlson and Chakaro are right there though, and Jontika's going past. He's not taking any prisoners. He's dropped his aero on this. He's got a second on Chakaro. Let's just check behind him. And sorry, a second on Psychologist, 2 seconds, and it's going out further. So some great timing by Jontica. He's just got to go around this little loop and then through the banner. He's got 4 seconds. He's got 5 seconds. Yeah, he's timed this very nicely. And then a group of 3, Chakaro, Young and Psychologist are breaking it up, just 6-7 seconds behind. So it'll be interesting to see if they come back on the descent or not. I don't know what they're talking about in the A race, but there seems to be a bit of chat going on. Some of these A riders are only a minute and a half behind. Have they absolutely? Yes. So great work from Jontica. He's taken the banner. Looks like Psychologist got through their 3rd, but the Bs have massively closed up on the Cs. So what we're going to do now, we're going to jump in with the As. So let's just see. So the A's have broken up into 2 groups. So we've got Bannister, Ruiz, and Holder. And I think I remember Ruiz from last week absolutely steamed it early on the climb and then fell apart. So it'd be interesting to see what happens this week. Then we've got the next group, which has Scorekeeper, Manalo, Prado. So these are very, very strong climbers. So it's going to be interesting to see how much they close up on these guys. So we'll look at the reverse view from here. But Bannister, Ruiz and Holder have put quite a lot of time in. Now they were 8 seconds. It's now down to 7 seconds. So the gap is closing. We've got Clayson and Clayson here, who's really pushing hard after these guys. Scorekeeper is looking like he's putting an effort to close the gap. Prado is right, and Jason Robinson right behind him. I would say they're going to close the gap, although Ruiz is climbing very well again, like he did last week. He has got quite a good gap on them. Let's just check out how things are looking in the A's. So yeah, it's Ruiz has stopped. He's stopping. Disaster for Ruiz again. It's the commentator's curse. So now at the front of the A's we've got Scorekeeper and Rossi and Bannister with Prado just behind. Scorekeeper is a fantastic climber. So the commentator's curse completely caught Ruiz out there. Very sorry, my friend. And it looks like we've got a nice group here. Unfortunately, Dan Manalo has been dropped. So we've got Clayson, Rossi, Bannister, Scorekeeper, Robinson and Prado. All very strong riders, as you'd imagine. Dan has dropped about 18 seconds on these guys going up the climb. So they're coming around to the little loop. Will Scorekeeper, yeah, he's putting a bit of a burst in now. We've got Bannister just in front though. He's so yeah, there's a whole lot of A+ riders in this. In this front group, we've got 4 A+ riders. So it's really high level of competition tonight. This Brad Bannister guy was an elite runner turned cyclist. Interesting. Looks like he's got some very good numbers. So Bannister has taken the flag and Rossi second, Scorekeeper third. Interesting. Okay, so back to the D's. Let's see what's happening in that race. Okay, so some of the C's are, let's have a look into the C's and see, yeah, so we've got, I want to check if any of the C's have managed to tag into, oh wow, some of the B's have nearly caught up. So we've got a C right at the front by the looks of it. That guy's completely stopped. Okay, let's try this again. It's pretty difficult to so this is right at the front of the B's now. There's definitely some C's in front of them and some D's in front of them. So I'm going to try to catch up with who is leading in the D's now. So it looks like, oh yes, so F Forest Rose, let's see, is leading this one. Yeah, here's Forest Rose. Okay, yeah, so Forest is way out in front of the D's, got about a 46-second gap. Now the next timing point is Breakaway Bray at 14.2. Oh, he's done Breakaway Bray. So now he's getting ready for Sker Summit South. So unfortunately, we missed them going through that banner because we were watching the A's going up the climb. So he's going to be hitting this climb any moment now. There's a lot of chat going on in the A's this week. On my wheel, I think we're gonna jump back in with them into the A's because there's quite a lot of action. So this is Scorekeeper at the front of the A's. So it looks like, yeah, so we've got Prado, Scorekeeper, Robinson, Rossi. What's happened to Bannister? Have they got a gap? So yeah, Bannister has got about 10 seconds according to this. He is, yeah, he's up the road. Bannister is up the road. Okay, so I think we're going to actually catch their sprint here. Yeah, Bannister's, yeah, you can see him now. He's 10 seconds up the road, but they are definitely closing now. Now, it'd be interesting to see if they close up a lot on the sprint. But this is a really high-level group of riders in the A's here. Clayson has dropped 14 seconds. Holder's dropped 26. There's a little group with Manalo, Dog, Williamson. So here we've got a group of 5 with Bannister about 9 seconds up the road, pushing quite a high number of watts per kilo. But the thing is, maybe Bannister doesn't realise it's FDS, it's not FAL. Scorekeeper, he's going to want to time this sprint nicely, so yeah, he's sticking with the draft. Jason Robinson's got a ridiculous sprint on him as well, right behind Scorekeeper in a brilliant position for sprinting. So Bannister might well cross the line first, but it's a points race, so that doesn't really make a huge amount of difference. Scorekeeper's gone to the front. He probably didn't really want to. Yeah, look at his watts now. He's incredibly slowed down. Robinson's freewheeling pretty much. If I were a betting man, I'd say Robinson will take this. He has got a frightening sprint, but Scorekeeper's also got a very good sprint. It should be pretty good. I think Prado launches early on this, I would imagine. It's the sprint line. Scorekeeper's putting 11 watts per kilo down. Robinson, orange numbers. Yeah. Is he going to launch it just before the finish? He's dropping back a little bit. Yeah, has he left it too late? It's looks pretty good at the front. Scorekeeper is pushing forward. Prado's dropped a feather. Scorekeeper's got a helmet. Coming up to the finish. It's so tight. Oh, Robinson has taken them all. A brilliant, great timing from Robinson. I think Robinson took that one. Okay, so let's get back to the climb. We might have unfortunately missed the D's going up that climb. Let's get back in with Rose. Yeah, Forest Rose. Forest was. Oh no, Forest is. We've got it. So Forest is up there. Actually, the C's have got. We'll follow Forest. Forest is in front on the climb. He's 19 seconds up on, but the other D's have really closed up. He's just about to go through. Unfortunately, we missed the C's going through. It's pretty difficult to catch everyone going through everything. But Forest, this is interesting because I think he had quite a lot of extra time on those other D's. So even though he's gone through the banner first, he might not necessarily win this one. Let's go back to so the C's have. Let's just check it out if they are still together here. So we've got the C's here. We've got Tim Mullett in front, having a great ride. Squires and Kelleher, which is fantastic ride from Kelleher, which is, as I say, he's just been promoted to C, which is really difficult to be promoted and then be competitive. So fair play to him. So in the C's here, we've got Kelleher, we've got Mullett, we've got Sedgwick riding really, really well at the front. So we've got a group of about 6 riders, a small gap to Van Zyl, and then unfortunately another gap to Hobson, and then quite a big gap. So there's only 6 now in the front group. What we're going to do is jump in with the B's because they will be well into the climb. And in fact, yeah, looks like it's just starting the climb. So this is really good timing. So that front group of B's has really thinned out. So we've just got 5 riders now. So we've got Psychologist, we've got Young, Jontika, who took the other climb, Carlson and Shokuro. I'm not sure if I can get any of the times from any. Oh yeah, this is cool. It's now broken it up. Let's just no, I can't get it, unfortunately. It doesn't show it. It doesn't break it down as to who's a D and who's this, that and the other. So you can see from the Ds we can see it quite nicely, but other than that it's not possible to see which category people are in. This is, so we've got Ds, some Ds, and we've got some Cs, so it's all mixed up. It's a shame, because if it actually separated out, that would be this would be a really useful page. Okay, back in with so Jontika is putting down some serious watts here. He's got orange numbers. Oh yeah, well then they're nearly at the top. So Jontika and Young could take him. Young, ooh, very, very tight. I mean, it really will depend on where they cross the start and finish banner at the bottom. Okay, excellent work from those two though. Let's jump back in with the A's. I would imagine that the A's are going to start to they must be very, very close to the B's now. Okay, so now is Bannister still out in front? So it looks like it's all back together. This is really interesting. We've got Dogholder, Prado, Rossi, and Bannister. No, okay, so Bannister's 46 seconds ahead, but the other guys are. So Dan's back in. Yeah. I'm not quite. Thanks the team. The great Super Sonic Group. Yeah, not quite sure how that worked, but somehow Dan got himself back in. Fair play. Either he put a huge effort in, or the group just slowed down nicely to allow him to jump back in, which is cool. He is a very good sprinter, so personally I would have, if I'd been riding here, I would have rather him not be in the group. But yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so off they go up the climb now. So we saw that Bannister had around, say, 47 seconds start on these guys. So if he can stick that, then fair play to him. And he's nearly at the top now. But we should actually be able to see the times down the side, because this is the race that I'm kind of in. So let's just see. The group is staying together. A couple of seconds between. It all looks like it's fairly together right now. Dan is sticking in there. Where's Scorekeeper gone? Scorekeeper, yep, there's Scorekeeper. This climb is quite quick, and they're coming to the top now. Rossi's putting an effort in. He's gone, he's launched it. And is he going to take it? Let's just check behind. And we can check his time. Did he? Scorekeeper's taken it, and Rossi second. And you see Bannister's actually the slowest out of everyone. So the fact that he's leading it out here isn't massively helping him. But yeah, great ride from Rossi and Scorekeeper. Scorekeeper took it almost identical times, but must have just started a little bit behind. Now, are they going to allow the group back together? Dan has dropped a little bit again. Scorekeeper's cruising. No, he's in the super tuck. Okay, let's jump in with the D's and let's see if Rose. Now Rose had, I think he had about 28 seconds when we saw it last time, and he's only got 22 seconds, so it's definitely closed up now. The next sprint here is the Clyde Kicker at 21.7. Oh, actually, it looks like they've done the Clyde Kicker. So it looks like, yeah, they are in the finishing straight here. They are in the finishing straight. So, yeah. In fact, I think we've missed the C's coming over the finishing line. It's very difficult to keep up with everyone. So let's just see if that is the case. So let's see who is at the front. Oh yeah, so at the front of the C's was Paul. Yeah, they have finished, unfortunately. So we missed the finish of the C's. Let's jump in with the B's though. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, in fact, the B's are, so they're just coming up to the Clyde Kicker. John Tika looks like he might have taken the Clyde Kicker there, and him and P Young have broken away, with Shokaro and Psychologist 5 seconds behind. There's only 1.5 kilometers left now. Actually less than 1 kilometer left. 23.7 is the finish. So it's going to get cagey now. I don't think Psychologist and Shokaro are going to catch them. So it's these two now who are going to fight it out for the finish. And I think John Tika has taken most of the preems in this. So let's see if he takes this final sprint. He's got a small advantage, but Young is putting down some serious watts. Now this is the final straight, and Young has a aero, and he is, yeah, Young. It's a very fantastic sprint here. So Young is going to definitely take that sprint. Great race from Young. Very nicely done. I would suggest that Jontika took the overall, but it must have been very tight between him and Young. Let's jump in with the A's, because they are going to be closing in now on the finish. So yeah, here we come. This is perfect timing. The group's all together. Prado's gone, Rossi, Williamson, Scorekeeper, and Robinson. Now Robinson, we saw, took that sprint before. Is he going to time this one? Well, look at those orange numbers. That's actually frightening. Bannister 30.16. Scorekeeper again takes it. Great riding from Scorekeeper, 25.52. And you see so Rossi's way out in front, but he's losing, he's losing the sprints by 5 seconds and coming well down. So this group has stayed together. There's 5 people at the front. It's between these guys on that final sprint. Well, will Prado go early? His sort of how he normally rides is he might well go early. Basically, they go up a little rise here. They've got just over 1 kilometer to the finish. And Prado's not. He's leaving it to the sprint. Fair play. So they come down this little hill, turn right, turn left, and then left again, and then it's the final sprint. And it is a first across the line sprint for the final places rather than a timing. So let's follow Robinson on this one. Robinson, will he be able to unleash a massive sprint? Now, some people have gone early. The orange numbers are out already. And has Robinson, have they got the jump on Robinson? Rossi has gone very early. Let's catch up with Rossi here. Prado is overtaking Rossi. Scorekeeper is going. Williamson is in front. Is Scorekeeper going to catch him? And Scorekeeper got it. Fantastic. So there we have it, everyone. Some really, really exciting racing this week. I kind of wish I was in that race because that looked really, really good fun. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the commentary. I'm sorry that I missed some of the finishes and that kind of thing. It's really difficult the way that this bounces around with these individual races. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully we get Mark John back next week, and then we can actually watch 2 screens at once. But until then, thanks very much, and I'll speak to you